What's going on, guys? It's Swift back with another episode. This time I have brought back the tournament footage in the background, so you have something to watch. And I'm joined today by Cake and Dan. So
Hey.
yeah, and shout out to Dan. He just became staff today. So
Woo.
Yeah, congratulations.
you can hear how excited he is. All right, so let's start off. Have any of you guys made any cool purchases since we last talked?
A bunch.
Oh yeah,
A
what?
bunch of burst stuff. It's all burst
Hey,
though.
that's fine though. What did you get?
Mm, Let me go through the list real quick. Wait. Okay, MFB, because you guys are MFB heads. I got a real wing Pegasus.
Ooh,
Oh,
finally.
nice.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the RB is really nice. I don't. The last time I used an RB was when Jade came out, so I don't know how great it is, and I
Oh
don't really
wow.
remember enough about it. So yeah.
And that was a long. Wow, you haven't used RB in years,
Yeah,
almost a
yeah.
decade. So
I bought one of those. I bought a bunch of like recolored, just like drip stuff for burst.
Yeah,
A
understandable.
few
yeah.
extreme dashes
Ooh,
and quick dashes.
good.
What am I missing? There must be something. Ah, the sticker set, like that MFP sticker thing that you helped me find, Swift.
Oh yeah, the Koro stickers.
Yeah. Another one came up. So
Yeah, are you buying that one? I was gonna link it to you, but then I was like, I don't know if he wants to buy it again.
I mean, maybe I don't see why not. I'll scan them. I'll try like get a really great scan of them for other
Yeah,
people.
I have a scanner too, so I might try to do that. Because I actually, Serena and I printed some custom Facebolt stickers so I could recreate the anime accurate Grand Capricorn. Because we have like a
Uh,
sticker machine. So
Maybe you'd be the guy to do that. That
yeah,
would
I
be
mean, unless you
really
can get
really
a
cool.
higher quality scan, but
I'm
otherwise,
going to Staples. Probably not.
okay. But yeah, because I have one of those sticker sheets coming in too, and I'm very excited. If you don't know what we're talking about, Cake, you know that really cool sticker that's on my black and red Medial Drago?
Yeah.
It's like a full sheet of like different of the anime bays, but those kind of stickers.
Yeah.
They did like all the constellations really well. Like every single freaking Facebolt sticker is a hit. Like they're all good.
The thing
Yeah,
that throws
I
me
haven't
off.
seen that much of the Korokoros, but like every single one I've seen has been super cool.
The one that throws me off is the Virgo one and why it's blue.
Oh, like it shows like the full maiden, right? Like the dress and everything. Looks like a ghost.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it still looks cool. It just like the blue throws me off.
I like
That's
Aquario a whole lot. It's got like the ooze like coming out of its jaw or whatever.
Yeah, so ironically, when you were looking for that sticker sheet, Dan, Rat King had one. So I was like looking around for you, and he showed me. He's like, bad news, and the whole sticker sheet was intact, but the El Drago sticker had come loose and stuck to the Pisces sticker. It was
What?
yeah, it was tragic. It was tragic.
Dang.
But yeah,
Oh my goodness.
but yeah. So
Let me see. I actually went out of my way to get a metal drift. Yep.
wait, you bought a Metal Drift?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Metal
Like
Drift is better than normal drift, so I think.
maybe. I mean like metal never is better than regular never.
Yeah,
So
I get better like
Yeah.
controllability. Like it doesn't go as crazy if that makes sense. Like if you don't launch right, like it's more
kind of
forgiving.
pulled an MD moment with the second drift, but forget it.
Yeah, it's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do when guilty's not working.
I got it because it was purple. Like that's it.
It looks really sick. I just wasn't
Yeah.
expecting you to like buy that.
Just the individual Beyblade. So
Yeah.
not going through the commotion of a whole set. I think that's bonkers, but yeah, pure drip cosmetic choice.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
drip is more important than anything else.
It's true. It's true. So what about you, Cake? Have you gotten anything?
Well, I've been trying to buy the 0G sets from Vulcan Eagle,
Oh
but
yeah.
there is something wrong either on my end or on his end because I still can't get the purchase to go through.
Are you using PayPal?
I didn't see PayPal as an option on his site.
Oh, that's whack. Huh,
Yeah,
interesting. You could
and there's something
always.
funked up with the authentication, so I can't get anything through.
So I'm not 100% sure he'll do this, but for me at least, he did it through Amazon. There's like a $10 tax or whatever, but it's whatever. It,
Yeah,
it came in like 2 days, so
I'll see if I can figure it out.
yeah. All right, right on. And then I know you haven't gotten any more burst. Besides, you bought a Shadow Amaterios Extreme Dash for me this weekend,
Yes,
and
yeah,
then I just chucked a Metal Extreme at you. So
you did.
so okay,
Uh,
yeah. Or did you have anything else?
Oh, it already I was already annoyed because I accidentally put it on one of my cores, thinking it was my regular extreme.
Oh
Oof.
no.
I was like, ah, I'm bending the teeth.
Oh yeah. It's oh well. It's like
But it is what it is.
it is
It's
what
not.
it is. Like if you bend the teeth, then you don't deserve to use that core. So all right. So that basically, I guess for me, I don't think I've got. Oh yeah, I got the Blue Inferno Hell Kerbex. That's really all that's noteworthy
Yes, yeah,
that I've
Mhm.
purchased, which is that thing's pretty drippy. Cake and I had a rare Kerbex battle off in the 4D event. Oh wait, Cake, you got your TA. That's a pretty important thing
yes, that
to
is a
mention
very
that you
important
did
thing.
get. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I also did get a couple of those 0G sets and some metal stone faces. And then I'll be buying 3 0G attack type stadiums. So hopefully we can get some 0G events going.
yeah,
Um, I think that's it though for like what I've actually purchased. Besides those Zyphoids that I finally got from you.
yes, yeah.
Um, and then I guess I pre-ordered that. What is it? The new Spriggan.
Yeah, the Burst Ultimate set.
Yeah, I got that from Premiere. I had like a discount still that I had to use up, and I was the first one to pre-order it, y'all. But yeah, that's all I've got. Um, okay, moving on. Let's talk about spooky series. So, unfortunately, Dan wasn't able to come to this one because he's in a different country.
Yeah.
But Cake and I had our yearly Halloween tournament that JA Industries hosts in Carmel, Indiana. And this one we had two burst events. We had just a normal standalone burst standard event for people who couldn't come to the team event the next day. Then we had a metal fight limited the same day. Then the next day we had the Team Palooza, the final one team event, and then Metal Fight 4D that we experimented it with in the Shin TA. So one thing I will say is I don't think I ever want to play two burst standard events in one weekend ever again. That
Really?
I feel like it was too much.
Huh.
I feel like I would have rather had another Metal Fight event if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not that I hated it. I guess I also just really didn't like the team. I don't like team format with 3v3. Because then it's I don't know, you get barely any matches, and then it could also just be 3v3 ruining the experience for me. But that's another topic later. So what were your thoughts on the tournament, Cake?
Um, well, I was so for the first burst standard, I was trying some weird stuff, and I was still trying weird stuff into teams and maybe sandbagging a little bit there. But I, I like I think we'll have to talk about this more with the introduction of bearing drift as the de facto best stamina bottom in general. Because as opposed to the previous event, that I think that was the big difference. There was a lot more Zyphoid around too, though. but
Yeah, I think that so like what we all
yeah,
experienced was guilty against wind on bearing or on just like normal bearing dash. I feel like Zyphoid does better against that than guilty. I'm not sure if Toronto has that same experience, but for us, guilty
I'm the
obviously.
only one who's really using it, Zyphoid, and I think they're both like it's hard to distinguish between the two for me.
I was feeling a lot of difference with same spin versus opposite spin. Like I was noticing quite a lot of the opposite spin matchup. So like same spin attack versus whatever was a lot easier to get KOs than with opposite spin.
Yeah.
Because like Vanish is a lot harder to kill with Zyphoid than it is with Guilty. With Guilty, it's really easy. With Zyphoid, you might have some trouble.
Right.
With and then conversely, Dynamite and Wind can be a little bit of a problem with Guilty, but Zyphoid does tend to kill him pretty well. It seemed.
To be fair, I've never had an issue against Dynamite with guilty. I feel like guilty kind of murks it. Um, but that I don't know. I feel like wind is just weird. I can't KO wind very much with guilty.
I haven't really had trouble apart from like maybe messing up my launch. I think Guilty is more consistent in both spin directions, but I think Zyphoid for right is just like probably more brain off than Guilty is versus the same right spin opponent. So
Yeah,
I have to agree with the idea that same spin you should stick to that respective attacker.
yeah, and I guess it also before the event was happening, when at least in teams, this is where I had issues. um Cake had lent out his stadium to some kids to use, and then others were using the other stadiums. So what I was practicing in for a majority of the time was the Shin TA. That's what we were using because we didn't have the burst stadiums available to us. And I don't know. I don't think that would adjust my launch, but my attack launch, you can ask Cake because usually I'm pretty good with attack. But that day on teams, I just could not use attack at all. I was self KOing or completely missing the flower. I like Cake saw it and it was
Yeah, it was pretty
abysmal.
rough.
Yeah. I don't know. I tried switching to my normal extreme. Like I thought maybe I was just having an off day with extreme dash, so I switched to the what is it? The Lord Spriggan, or
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah, that
Or the
extreme or
Achilles.
quick dash or the yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Um so I switched to that quick dash and I still self KO'd. So it was definitely a skill issue by me, but I don't that might have affected like the way I looked at wind being hard to KO because I couldn't KO anything that day.
And on the topic of my stadium, rest in pieces. Uh, Guilty ate it at the start of the first burst tournament.
Yeah.
It got stuck vertically in one pocket and took a nice bite out of the sidewall.
Yeah, a big hole. Ironically, in that same test match, that it was Serena, and in that same match that she broke Cake Stadium, she also broke Triple Dash's Achilles core by knocking a screw out of it or something.
Serena was a monster at those events. Like she was getting like big attack hits
She
like
was
constant.
doing super well with Guilty. It was pretty ridiculous.
Jesus. The beast. The hidden the final raid boss.
And what's funny is I've never like played burst with her. So like Triple Dash showed her like how to launch like right before the tournament. Like literally she had really never launched DB bays and then she like played very well. She
Yeah,
played the
she was
best
killing it.
on her whole team. She was like the MVP. So but yeah, that was the burst. I ended up getting second because I was tied 4-4 against Triple Dash. And this is when I was doing good with attack. And then I chose to stick with guilty, and he went wind, and then I couldn't KO it, so I lost, but
That's really rough.
yeah, it's whatever. But then yeah, for the medal fight, this was like literally the best performance the worst performance I had ever had in limited. I think how many rounds did we each play, Cake? 5 for a group round robin.
I, shoot, what was it?
I want to say it was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think it was
5.
I think it was. Yeah, you're right. It was
Yeah,
5
because I think
actually.
I went 2 and 3. And one of my wins was with Jade A230 RF, which absolutely murked Lionheart's Medio. But then otherwise, I used Virgo and I picked right against Cake's brother Basalt Spam, and he used Leon on CS. But his CS, Dan, is one of the really aggressive ones, you know?
His
So
was brand new, and so it was
yeah, so like it was flowering just like RF, and I was expecting when I saw it, I was expecting it to be like a stationary Leon. So I was like, okay, Virgo BD will beat this because he had literally 2 Flame 230 hate combos. So I chose that, and then he just KO'd it. And then my match against Cake, I used Leon, and it was tied 2-2. And then I ended up not being able to K, which was a really crazy last battle though. He like literally jumped, like he got the craziest wall save. Um, but
Yeah, I was not playing super great in first stage. I barely scraped by into finals. I think I went 3-2. Uh, but I got some big wins against good players with my 3 wins there. And a lot of other people were kind of having middling records, so I happened to be second place in my group. And so then was able to move on to finals. That I won 2 separate matches by using stamina against aggressive things, and then just counter launching my heart out and barely squeezing by 3-2.
Actually, it's just launching correctly.
Yeah, so like again, like the match that Swift just mentioned was again Leon versus Earth Cygnus TR-145 W2D, and I just banked it to make W2D move around and just cross my fingers and hope to not get hit.
literally
And
dodged all the flowers.
and it barely worked out. So
Yeah,
and
oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to move on to talking about finals.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So then finals, I kind of woke up and started playing better. Let's see, what all did I do in the finals? Well, I think shoot, who was it with the ripcord launcher?
That was Razor Storm. Who that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about. I guess before
Yeah,
you talk about finals really quick. I'll
talk about his
So
performance.
Dan, we had this new player who I guess knew my YouTube channel or something. But he was from Indiana, and he had a Hasbro Ripcord launcher, and all of his Beyblades were mid fakes.
Okay.
So I didn't think he was gonna. I literally tried to lend him a string launcher, and I told him I would give him one, and he didn't want it because he tried it and he didn't like it.
My
So
God, he's based.
yeah, so he stuck with his ripcord launcher, but like somehow his ripcord launcher didn't like skip at all. So he was getting like, and he used majority attack. So the thing was, he was getting like not hard launches, but very very controlled launches, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what did he go? Did he go undefeated in the first stage, Cake?
It was either undefeated or really close.
I'm pretty sure it was undefeated, and that he only like lost once he got to deck, as like generally new players will do really good, but then once they get to deck, that's where they start to like lose to players who make better decisions, like veteran players. But
I was really impressed. He was using a lot of attack throughout the tournament with a LL1, and he was getting good launches with lots of solid KOs.
This is like the whole Grace L thing, where using the ripcord launcher for attack types might just be meta.
Well, and honestly, he was comfortable with it. He stuck to it, and
Yep.
he wasn't necessarily getting the strongest launches, but his launches were controlled, and that's a lot of the time what matters.
I think this is really random, but it's kind of ironic. He just DM'd me on Discord, like, and he just said he's looking to switch to string launchers. That's so funny.
Huh.
That is funny. I guess you converted him,
Yeah,
or
I
he
see. Like, I
converted
think
himself.
like usually people can feel that string launchers are better, but since like it was his first tournament and he had like never launched like a string launcher, like a real one, so it probably just felt really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it makes sense to not switch when you're trying to compete, and then kind of get a feel for it later when there's no pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, so did you want to talk about finals then?
Yeah, so finals, um my match versus Razor was not well, okay. Shoot, cuz he was the finals match, right?
No,
No.
he ended up in fourth.
Oh yeah, cuz he was in my block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my match versus him was not amazing. Um I was doing more of the same thing with playing a lot of that Earth combo, and he was struggling to get KOs on it, and was kind of not choosing well. Um, yeah, he was really struggling with that combo to deal with that Earth combo, and so that didn't feel super great. Because I mostly just soloed him with that one combo. Again, because he was trying to use his other stamina-ish things to deal with the Earth. He tried to pick Flame 230 into it, and so I explained to him after Earth 1 that you've got the high, low, mid height matchup thing, and then Earth has those slopes. He said that when he was doing testing, Earth was losing. I don't know if there's some kind of mold difference
Well,
or
one thing
some.
I thought influenced that match was, in a stamina v stamina type match, he was using a significantly weaker launcher than yours.
That is also true.
So like he was getting like 3 rotations with his flame, where you were getting like the general 7 with your
Yeah.
launcher. So it was like that could influence. I know I've seen you beat flame with it before, but usually
Yeah.
it's not that decisive.
Yeah,
Because,
it was definitely the launcher difference was huge, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that didn't feel super great. Again, he had gravity. What was it, CH120 RF or something like that? Just
it was SW145.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So just a solid attack combo that should have KO'd me. I think he maybe got scared off after again I did some desperate counter launching to try and survive, and it worked. Because yeah, he should have just stuck with that and tried KOing it. But I continued to gamble that he wouldn't use that, or that I'd be able to do some counter launching to dodge it, and then it paid off.
Yeah, and
So not the end to his story that I kind of wanted, but
yeah, like what we learned though is like with some better launcher power, like he had pretty good combos.
Yeah, he had potential. He was making
Yeah,
good
so
choices. He
like
was playing well.
yeah, because none of us helped him build combos. He came set and used his combos. He gave his brother some pretty garbage ones. I'm not gonna lie, but like you don't want your brother to beat you. They probably didn't know they would be in different groups, but yeah, like I'm definitely happy to have him in our community now, and he'll
For sure.
most likely be. It's just another MFB player. But I thought that your finals match against Early and Dan, I don't know if I told you about Early. Early was the guy who got third place at the Michigan event, but he's been slowly climbing the ranks of the Midwest, and like he's been on a tear lately. And this time he made it to the finals against Cake.
Nice.
Yeah, that match was, you were down what, 1-4? You were down
Yeah,
1-4.
I made a big reverse sweep there.
Yeah. Um he gave, so like the thing was, and I was talking to your brother about this on our drive home. was that, like when he was up 1-4, he did the whole gamble, like let me just
Yeah.
like try this again, and that went wrong for him. But by then,
Yeah.
he only had 2 more chances, to
Yeah.
make the right decision. So that's, I guess, why you never want to just take a risk, because no matter how far ahead you are, you could always get reverse swept.
Yeah.
And then Cake just had really good launches.
Yeah.
So
I think it was similar to how Burst played out, where I was maybe not playing my best during first. Sorry, not Burst. The first event, but with the second team event, where at the very end I finally woke up and started actually playing attack properly. I think it also came into effect with finals, where I was maybe not doing super great with my launching and my attack gameplay at the start of the tournament, but by the end, when the pressure was really on, then I finally got my act together and started playing a lot better.
yeah, and then he ended up winning his very first MFB event. Let's go.
Yeah, incredibly enough, I have never taken first in an MFB event. I've taken quite a few second places, but
Let's heck and go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
We were pretty. He won. What did you win? It was like the Legend Super Vortex set. And you
Yes.
gotta tell Dan about how heavy that gravity and stuff weighs.
Oh, yeah. So I weighed the gravity in there, and it was like 34.5 grams. It was like
That's really
super
good.
heavy. Yeah. And then the Perseus clear wheel was also my heaviest. I mean, the problem with the gravity is that it's like
Think of baby food.
baby food or like Dijon mustard
It's
yellow,
the worst
like
color you'll ever see in your life.
really nasty
It
looking.
looks like
but,
it's under like a weird light, but then you turn on a normal light and it looks the exact same.
but it's heavy.
It's super.
Um,
He unironically made the comment like, "I really hope that this isn't heavy, so I don't have to use it." And then it was way heavier than his other ones.
And then conversely, the beautiful chrome Unicorn 02 was
Unicorn
like
01. Unicorn 01.
or sorry, Unicorn 01 was like it's like 2.3 grams or something abysmal.
Yeah, it was underweight.
Yeah.
But the CS in that set was also really good.
Yeah, the CS was, the usual Hasbro, like, hyper-aggressive, second RF type dealio. So it was looking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was really sick.
Though the stadium edge was sharp and actually cut me.
Yeah, it was really funny because he was unboxing it, and then all of a sudden we see him like sucking on his finger, and we're like, "Did you hurt yourself?" And he was like, "I went to grab the stadium and it cut me." So
Jesus.
The Super Vortex is fighting back.
Yeah, it didn't want to be taken.
yeah, it's the Super Vortex is so sick. Like, it's such a cool stadium. I didn't realize it was so small though. I guess I haven't seen one since 2012, but
Did they change it from like the very first?
that's
Super
what I
Vortex
thought.
set?
That's what I said, but Cake and his brother said they didn't.
Like the red one, you know which one? It's like this minuscule, teeny tiny thing. Is it the same thing?
It's the exact same, just a different color.
Yeah, that stadium is just like so ridiculous that I kind of like it.
It's so fun.
I'll have to bring mine in December, like, because I have two of them.
Oh yeah, that's good. That will be really sick. We could have a like a side event.
Yeah. Launch Giga Flat in there.
Yeah, because you don't need pockets in that stadium because the floor is so small they literally just beat the crap out of each other. But yeah, that was basically Spooky Series for us. Cake and I in our team event with Triple Dash, we took second place there, but it didn't feel good because Triple Dash and I really let Cake down. Which
we were doing pretty well up until the last match, where all of a sudden just things fell apart for Triple Dash and Swift. I managed to finally get my act together and stop, holding the team back with dumb combos and play out of my mind with attack, but it was too little too late.
But the one time Cake absolutely just demolishes, we did not, so. It is what it
Oof.
is. It was
That's a
still
bad
fun.
feeling.
It's still a free Beyblade though, you know what I mean? Like that's all I could think about was we get that Premier Beyblade or whatever, I don't even know. But shout out Premier for sponsoring those
Yeah.
tournaments.
Cub Swift.
And then congrats to Jay and his team for winning that. Serena did 4-0 Magic Horse. She bursted him with a World Drift.
Twice.
Like that's
He was
kind of
World Drift and bursted him?
yeah. She was World Drift in left spin, and what was he using? It was
Did she burst his wind moment dash, or was that something else?
no, it wasn't the moment. Was it the moment? No, I can't imagine that moment dash would burst. It might. Oh, I think it was his. He was using wind on bearing drift.
Oh, yeah, because I'd seen him mostly using moment dash,
Yeah, that's-
so I associated it with that.
Yeah,
That would make a lot more
How
sense.
did that burst?
Yeah.
Both
So
circles.
he went to light launch, but he accidentally hard launched.
You said makes no sense.
Yeah, we don't know either because they battled, they made contact, and then on the second hit that he just exploded, and then unlucky to Magic because in deck finals of the first day's tournament, I was down, but then I got the momentum in my favor because I made a counter pick to Guilty because why wouldn't I? And I was able to burst his Vanish Achilles on Bearing Drift. So
What was the core on that wind combo?
on the wind, I think he was using Belial 3.
Yeah, I think that's
Or
right.
no, Belial
Okay,
2. He was
no,
using
that
Belial 2.
doesn't-
Oh, yeah,
Okay, is it red?
Yes.
yeah.
Maybe the stopper didn't come out.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Well, I mean, it really must be.
Yeah,
The
it's
stopper
gotta
didn't
be, but
come
all
out.
I know is we were just
Yeah.
you just got burst. Even he was in shock. He was like, they're circles.
Yeah, that's really weird.
But yeah, I guess,
Well,
so,
and then 4D.
oh yeah. I almost forgot about 4D. How? So 4D, unfortunately, we only had 6 players.
Yeah.
So it was just club format because it was the last tournament of the weekend. But we did use the Shin TA, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great stadium. We had some weird interactions, but overall, it was
super weird. But it's fun because it's relearning. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
and it doesn't break things in a serious way. It just does some weird stuff. So we had some BD 145 scraping on tall tips, but only under hyper specific conditions. And then we had a match between a combo on PD and a combo on SD, and both bottoms would go hyper aggressive despite being not worn. Just the angle on SD is very slightly flatter than on most other D tips, and I think the slightly different floor shape of the TA causes it to just turn into XF.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Which is the most niche information of all niche information, because who uses SD?
Yeah.
But
and what made it super weird was your brother tried just launching it, they didn't even make contact. He'd launch it to the middle and it would just slowly start moving and then it would just go crazy.
Yeah.
No, it didn't even need to be hit. It was so weird.
That does sound weird. It's either as you say, and it's the angle of the stadium, or maybe
it's definitely the angle of the stadium.
Because we tried it with afterwards we tried it with a different SD and it did the same thing.
That was funny when your brother was just I found out it was just the SD. It was just that SD.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then the other consensus we came to, which obviously I think Cake and I at least were in favor of this, is just the Diablo with BD 145 needs to go. It's just
we
really good, too good.
We played with it and if you look at the tournament footage, basically everybody was using it. It's so good, even with some minor hiccups from occasionally scraping on the slightly different TA floor, it didn't matter. Like it's so heavy. It's such a good attack type. It's scary to so many opponents. There's very little reason to not use it in your deck. Yeah, I think the format is much better off without it in, because there's a lot of other things you can do with BD145 that are cool, but Diablo BD145 is the coolest of them all, and so there's really the only reason that people weren't using BD145 on Diablo was if they were specifically bringing it on something else designed to counter Diablo BD145.
Yeah,
And a lot of the time that didn't even get played
and the
because
thing is, I think that another reason why banning Diablo with BD145 it causes more diversity in the format as well. Because like you were saying, there's a lot of cool things you can use BD145, like Eldrago Guardian, or not Eldrago, yeah, Eldrago Guardian, right?
Yeah. Specifically.
Yeah. And then Death and Phantom. Like you can put it on a lot of different things. Where like if you can use it on Diablo, it's usually like why wouldn't you? But then that makes defense significantly worse. In 40 because then your best defense track is bound to an attack type. So
yeah, it just kind of does everything that you need all in one combo, and then you've got your remaining 2 slots to just fill with whatever.
Yeah, that was my impression as well. And then when we had the restriction in place, you could really tell that the format opens up in a way that's really much more enjoyable.
well, Cake and I thought that that's what it was gonna be. Because we had discussed it and we both thought that that was the rule set we were using. So the combos that I had prepared for the event the day before, were built for that. But then Jay said that we weren't doing that.
Yeah,
So
I asked him before the event, and I was like, okay.
I was just like, that's unfortunate, but it's whatever. Just more evidence. Like I feel like that the video that I posted is actually like perfect evidence for why it needs to go.
Yeah, we got so many comments immediately from people watching the video being like, "Bro, look at all the death or
Or the
not death,
Diablo.
Diablo."
The only reason I didn't argue with Jay is because I really wanted to use the drippy Diablo with the Inferno Kerbex.
Yeah, there was
So
that, and then also like we only had 6 people anyways, and we needed to play quickly to
yeah,
get
Cake had a
home.
flat
So
tire. Serena and I had to bring his brother back to Grand Rapids and then drive home from there. Um, but yeah, it mainly only affected Cake and me because
Yeah.
for like people who had to go. But yeah. Otherwise, next time we'll definitely do it without. And I don't know. I somebody did like, yeah. That's it. It's just too good. But
It is. It is.
overall, we really enjoyed 40 in the TA. Like you said, Dan, when you were messaging me that night, that I don't know if I responded to. I think I was driving, but yeah, the ridge doesn't matter as much for 40 and standard because they're so heavy. They just don't care. But for limited, it's definitely a whole different game. Like it's still a different game, but for limited, it's way different because if you don't launch right, your flower will get super effed up.
You get clapped. You need to practice in that one.
I
Yeah,
do
I think you're adequately rewarded if you do, but like you can't. There's no way
you have to
around it.
actually practice, which people need to
Yeah,
understand. I need to-
yeah. That was always kind of my problem with BB10, or I guess it wasn't really a problem. It was just like, okay, like I don't even have to play super well. I can just show up and I can still maybe get a KO just by being lucky, and that doesn't really happen in the TA too much.
Yeah, I do like the TAs, like because you have to deal with the ridge always, but then past the ridge, the walls are shorter, and so if you do land a really nice hit, you can just chuck things out regardless of which angle that you're
Well, because
landing in
the
at.
walls are also sloped. Like they're kind of like ramps. Where the BB10, since it's so tall, when they slam into the side of the wall, They just they don't KO. Where the TA, if they hit the side of the wall, they literally, it's like a ramp, so they just shoot out,
Yeah,
which is
that's
awesome.
another thing. Like you have a more defined ridge, but the trade-off is that the perimeter isn't nearly as safe anymore. Like you can get sent from anywhere if you're beyond the ridge.
Yeah, wall saves aren't wall saves always.
Yeah.
And also on the topic of the TA, the durability pretty darn good. I would after the my B-33 went kablooey, I had I just left my
TAs.
TAs stacked as one of the free play setups, and we had kids doing 3-way battles with guilty and other giant burst standard attack
Which was
things.
super wholesome to see.
Yeah, and so they were playing in that stadium. The only damage to the stadium is some minor dents into the corners of the walls, and just scuff marks and stuff, but no real damage to anything.
Yeah, which is very minor considering you have multiple kids launching in guilty as hard as they can with power gear launchers.
Yeah, that's no joke.
So I've been very impressed, and unlike the Super Vortex, it didn't cut me with the edge. So
Nice. Well, I promise the TA will not try to bite you.
Yeah, okay. So Dan, how have your events, how many events have you had? You said 2 since the last time we talked?
Yeah, we had 2. One of them was hosted by Zank in a pretty nice indoor venue. Unfortunately for me, it's not actually in Toronto. It's a nearby city, not really city, but like
Town.
yeah, we have like a greater Toronto area, and it was in one of those sectors. Really huge community center, just massive. Like the second you walk in, like one side there's ping pong, and then like the other side there's like pool, and there's people diving in, and then the other one there's like 3 basketball courts. It's crazy.
wow.
Anyways,
YMCA.
it's actually insane. Anyways, so we had that indoors. Zank like just had the full setup. Like he had these stands for the stadiums and the scoreboards and the tables and the chairs and the barriers. It was excellent. Really well done. That was regular ranked format. Went pretty well. A lot of wind, a lot of bearing drift, which I know we're gonna get to in a bit. It went pretty okay. Unfortunately, I got third. I did kind of get boofed by the whole stadium, what is corner, what is out type thing. Which is kind of sucky, but it's also like the reality of the burst standard stadium. So, sometimes you just got to take the L. That went okay for me. Zank did really well, like just played excellently right at the end when he needed to. It was a great event. The next event we had was outdoors, and it was just this Sunday. It was something that I had proposed where we modify a bit of limited, burst limited. And I basically made it where much of Chosi was allowed, with a few exceptions that are things that you could play in GT, because obviously if you're capable of playing Chosi stuff in GT, it's going to be really bonkers.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. It went okay. There wasn't a huge turnout because it's getting colder, and this is a fringe format with even nicher rules. But the format itself was really nice, with the exception of bearing drift on one combo. Really great, really great. No complaints. Do I really have more to say on that? I mean, the limited rules that I have there, stuff like Buster Excalibur is so good. Like it's just crazy good. If you want to check out the event page and see what rules we did use, I recommend it. The stadium, I mean the yeah, we did regular stadiums. The title was Mountaintop, so you can check that out. I don't know if you guys care about Limited. I don't know if anyone even listening is going to care about Limited, but
Only MFB limited.
yeah, only MFB Limited. It was really good in the fact that attack's usable and like quite good beyond just like one combo. There's like 4 different ones you can use, and they're all just bonkers. Really great. We are gonna have another one this coming Sunday. It's like a send off for Kay because he's gonna be headed off to Japan quite soon, and he'll be there for a while. That's gonna be burst as well. It's gonna be 5G. I know you guys don't really like the deck box based formats, but I do.
Fair
And
enough.
5G seems appropriate if you're sending him off to Japan. So
Yeah. Well, it's we both really like 5G, so that works out nicely. Yeah, so he's gonna having a lot of 5G when he's over there.
With like on that topic, does K buy new Beyblades when he goes to Japan to play? Because don't you have to like have the box at WBBA tournaments?
What do you mean by the box? Like that you purchased the product?
Proof that you purchased it in Japan. Like
Oh, I have no
that's what all
idea.
like the WBBA players or Asia players in the WBO server talk about is how like in all the Asian countries they have to have the box, and it's changed a little bit to where I guess they only need a picture of the box or just a part of like the box. But
That's so odd.
yeah, so I know he'll be in Japan, so he can just rebuy all of the stuff, you know. But it just got me
I
wondering,
heard
like,
that
does
from
he?
him.
Yeah, you should ask him about that because
I will. And could it be a new thing too? Because I'm not sure the
no,
last time he went.
it's been on for since the beginning because it was in like Wombat's and TSO's podcast that they had when they had shoot, it was like they had a blader from Singapore and like Thailand or something, and it's all the same in like all the WBBA events. You have to have and I you know when Marudi was on that thing about how like you can't use Korean Beyblades or something.
No, I thought he was just saying that because he's Japanese and they
I know, but
like
I wonder if
him.
that it's actually like a rule in their tournaments.
Oh,
because I
he was mentioning that they consider it fake tier.
Oh yeah, that was a little whack, but
Well, okay, so Kong made a very good argument for it back in the MFB days.
yeah, fair. When mid fakes might just be better than Sono Kong sometimes, who knows? But yeah, ask
yeah,
Cake and let me know about that because that's like or not Cake,
I
K.
will.
Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that
interesting to
sounds
me.
crazy to me.
because I remember seeing pictures of people with Ziploc bags full of collapsed burst boxes.
Yep.
What the heck?
Because they have to prove that and like because in Japan or something I guess they were also like behind on what releases they could use, right? So when we were in Sparking they were in GT or something
Really?
for
I
what
think maybe that was Philippines or something
or
like
that
that.
might have been Philippines. Was that Philippines only?
I don't remember.
But yeah, there it's just like weird like maybe it's just like the smaller Asian countries, I don't know. But yeah, just ask Kay about that because I that's pretty interesting to me. That they have
I
to
will.
validate that they bought it there.
I think that's so horrendous, though. I think that's so
Yeah, but
idiotic.
think
Like,
about how
how do I
all
have
the
this
money
product
that
right
they
now?
get. Think about that
Yeah, I
and how
guess.
big like But yeah, that's wild. But hopefully safe travels to K. I know he likes Japan, so I'm happy he can go back.
When's this podcast gonna be posted? Is it gonna be
Uh
posted before Sunday?
Probably tomorrow.
Okay. Just wondering. There's this little surprise for him, and I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, okay. Oh, this was a surprise?
No. Just like something at the event that we're gonna give him something on his like for his voyage.
Oh, is he so he's leaving on Sunday?
No, he's not actually leaving. I'm just getting him something. Oh my god, this is like going on to be like a minute worth of talking about complete utter nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I
uh,
can wait to upload it. I don't know.
uh, sure, okay, fine, fuck it. We're gonna like make him a cake or something. Like gonna like make a stadium shaped cake.
Oh, that's sick.
Yay!
That is awesome.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I hope it's a good event for you guys. That will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
it's last minute. If we get 10 people, I'll be quite content.
Yeah, but
Normally, we
usually
do things
you'll get
well.
like the friend group at least. So
Yeah.
but
I hope so. Even then, it's not really a big deal because whatever. It's still gonna be fun.
yeah, it's
But I
gonna
hope we
be
get a big turnout.
yeah, and that's like that's all that matters is just enjoying it, and Kay will enjoy it for sure. So
Yeah,
um,
I'm not too worried.
but yeah, so that's cool, and then that those were your two events, the experimental burst limited, and then I did watch the burst standard that I think it was Zanky uploaded it.
Yeah.
And that one looked really fun. I really like
He's-
Henwuja's commentary. I think it's so goofy.
Oh, oh my. Hanwooj is just like he's goated.
I
He's
know I like
really
Henwuja. Um, but yeah, I like those stands that Kansei has, but I feel like they're a little short. Like they're like a little awkward size height.
they are awkward sized. At least in my opinion, like I can start coping and saying that's why I launched all messed up. But like they are at a really weird size for like
Maybe
an adult.
because because like taking kids
Uh,
into account.
yeah, I
Because
think
adults
for
can
kids it's
crouch,
like
kids
great.
can't stretch up.
Yeah. I think with a chair, those stands are really quite nice.
Yeah. Um,
Just give the kids a stool; it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's way more convenient. Just a little pedestal that they can walk up onto, Um, but then if they
Nothing too
fall,
big.
that's like a lawsuit. And
Yeah.
but okay, moving on. So quickly before we talk about Bearing Drift, I wanted to talk about 3v3. I
Swift Salt Hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
Salt
the
Hour. So I was ranting to Cake, and then I think I just randomly like messaged Dan out of the blue saying 3v3 is garbage and nothing you say can change that or something like. And,
and he's like, I fucking hate 3v3. If you like 3v3, you're the worst. Like,
like okay, but hear me out. So the way like Cake was describing it, like the way we think about it is so 3v3 is just so annoying because in the finals of Team Palooza, so for context, in standard when we played pick 3 choose 1 the day before, I beat Magic Horse in finals 3-2, or I mean 5-2. But then we move so like and I know Magic is a good player. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but there's no way that I should be getting 3-0'd by that guy. But we played 3v3
my God.
and I just chose like it wasn't even a bad lineup. I went Wind on Bearing Dash first, then Dynamite on Bearing Drift second, and then Guilty third. And of course, the lineup that he went with was his Dynamite on Bearing Drift first, then what was it, like Vanish on
Why are you
Drift?
not front loading your deck with attack first?
Well, because like I said, the whole day I couldn't get attack launched. I had that's
Okay.
what I normally will do is load attack first, get the easy point. But as you can like as Cake said and I said that like I was just not doing good with attack, so I was like,
Yeah,
let me try to get my points early, so then when we reshuffle, I can like you know what I mean.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just super terrible, and I got 3-0'd. And the way did you want to explain what you said about the difference between getting 3-0'd in pick 3 choose 1 Cake and 3-0'd in 3v3?
Yeah, let me see. Let's see.
Or I could also probably find it.
Where's my notes?
Wait, I actually.
Yeah. So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So like, of course, you can get 3-0'd in any format. Like you can get locked into a bad matchup in pick 3 choose 1 or 1v1 or whatever, and just lose. Though with 3v3, the really rough thing about 3v3 is that it is played blind. Like not seeing people's combos at the start means the order is kind of arbitrary. Like there are trends and you can scout people, but because you don't know if they have a deck that is like, I mean, they could be playing triple stamina if they wanted, or like you don't know what you want to play in what order until you get to the reshuffle, really, because you haven't seen their combos yet. And unlike getting 3-0'd in pick 3 choose 1 or something, where okay, you made a bad choice or something, and
Whoa. Sorry. Let me. Wait. You guys are playing 3-on-3 to 3 points?
Yeah, first to 3.
3 to 3 points. It's way better to 5. It's way better.
Is that what you guys do?
I don't really remember. It must be because we had a lot of reshuffles.
Okay, there's no way that you guys.
We had a lot of
Okay,
reshuffles.
but here's
It's
a
the best
thing.
part.
No, I bet you guys go to 3 because if it's 2 to 1, you reshuffle.
Could be.
Because that's the way the format
yeah.
is. It's 3v3.
Because you get a lot of reshuffles. Usually you don't see 3-0s. Like 3-0s are generally rare in 3v3.
I did 3v3 like last summer. It was kind of cool, and then you realize 5G is kind of like that, except cooler, like actually decent. So
yeah, like
Okay, here.
Normally I'll rip into 3v3, but I do think that in the case of getting 3-0'd, it's kind of it not necessarily the fault of 3v3 as a format so much as the blind pick nature of it as opposed to deck revealed. Like
Well, like here's the thing with 3v3, you have to use all 3 Beyblades, which some people like.
Yeah.
I understand. So if you get screwed in your order, then you're just screwing your order. But in pick 3 choose 1, you can look at your opponent's deck and see which one of my Beyblades has the best chance against everything. And with Burst, Guilty can solo the format. So choose Guilty, and the chances of being 3-0'd are very slim.
yeah.
Though I'd also point out that again, normally I don't stand in favor of 3v3, but devil's advocate, one of the 3v3's advantages is that if you do have a broken combo like Guilty, then 3v3 does limit your ability to spam that to win.
Yeah, but then they just
That
spam
was
Bearing
definitely
Drift, then Metal Drift, then Bearing
No,
Dash.
here's the thing. We played the Uncool Limited for Anime North when you guys were there. And that was with Trigger V2 completely allowed. Trigger V2 it's a cancer. It's gone from that format now, but it was a cancer. It didn't belong there. In 5v5, it's perfectly fine. And like things that are very powerful lose that power when they're 1/5 of your deck.
Yeah, and I probably would like 5v5 better than 3v3, but like you said, I still just don't. I don't prefer the whole deck box order thing.
I think there's like an ideological difference between seeing the person's deck and wanting to make informed decisions.
Well, what about revealing
And
the deck before 3v3 at least?
I think that would actually be pretty cool. I think it would be worth a shot to experiment with because it may alleviate some of the problems you guys have with it, and you still get to keep 3v3 intact. I think that personally, when you have a rough idea of how every matchup goes and you've seen it a million times, it's kind of cool to just put your dudes in a box and then they put their dudes in a box. You just go for it. That is like my full, like, that is the entire reason I like it. And there is depth to it, but it's a very different kind of depth than the strategizing you experience with, like, deck.
Yeah, and I can understand that. That is just not the way that I like to play the game personally.
And since Cake is the one who taught me how to play, clearly I'm just the same way. So he's infected all of us.
I do have to say, I think while it does cause other problems that I still have some beef with, I do really like and kind of want to try that pick 5, choose 3 thing that Pink had.
Yeah.
Except that when I don't remember if he was playing it with deck revealed or not, but like I feel like that would have, with deck revealed, would kind of have a lot of the things that I like about both formats, because you do have the ability to bring combos that you're not going to use. You have a lot of combos that you can bring. You have some of the consistency improving benefits of 3v3, but you don't necessarily have all of the problems that come with 3v3, and it is deck revealed then, presume we're in this hypothetical, and so you do have all that information, fair playing field there. So I would, maybe we can do that in December or something, or just some kind of club thing, goof around with that match type.
Yeah, we really could, because I know your brother said he wants to do mock like deck matches or whatever, but we could also just experiment with different for like pick 5 choose 3 does sound kind of cool. I just want to see the deck before we play.
Yeah, the more involved that your match type is, obviously, the more depth that you will get out of it, right? It's also more time that you spend with it. So depending on the kind of event you're running, that's exceptional. And then other times it'll be like a nightmare. So I
Yeah.
think it really depends on your audience and if you want that level of depth, when that comes in, like there's a direct relationship between the depth and the time spent organizing and orchestrating a single match.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. Like, in an ideal world, I think I would love to play every single match as WBO deck. But realistically, we don't have the time to run that. And
Well, if we
so
just
I
cut
don't
down
think
to
it's gonna-
one tournament a day instead of 2.
Yeah, maybe. And if we can get our, multiple stadiums running and ironed out with everything moving smoothly, then we could, pull stuff off like that. But
Well, like the thing is with 3v3 is I feel like it like players don't learn decision making. So like Razor, for example, who swept through first stage in pick 3 choose 1, where they were just choosing their best combo, right? They made it to deck and they got hit pretty hard because they didn't have to make those decisions. And like 3v3, you don't even get the small amount of decision making that you get in pick 3 choose 1.
Yeah.
You just get to put your Beyblades in the whatever order you think is the coolest. But is it really even strategizing when you don't even know what your opponent's using, So like I can understand the appeal of 3v3 because it moves fast, you get to use all your Beyblades. And it's like fine, but like when you lose, it just doesn't feel good.
It can kind of feel a bit hollow, and when you have less agency, you also don't feel as good or pleased when you lose because you can't really point to something that you can improve on.
Exactly. You can't blame you because it's just like what I was telling Cake is in my 3v3 deck against Magic, I had stuff that countered his. I had stuff that would have way better matchups that would maybe lead to more LAD wars. But but when I lost, there's nothing but I could say like, well, I chose the wrong order. But that also feels like I'm making excuses, like my order was wrong. That's why I lost, like.
and something that I tend to talk about when we talk about formats and stuff is that Beyblade is difficult to gamify and make strategic because it is ultimately spinning tops that will do their own thing, whose core gameplay is rock paper scissors. So like trying, even though there is a lot of potential with all the customization and nuance to matchups and stuff, it is difficult to add in that extra layer of strategy. And so even formats that I do like pick 3 choose 1 have serious problems with them. Like, again, you can get 0-3'd if you just choose wrong and get locked into a matchup like that is not at all favorable, or someone else makes a very silly choice for some reason, and then your supposed counter pick is now a losing matchup for you. And that can feel unfair and feel bad, just like you can have situations in 3v3 that feel unfair and feel bad.
I mean, what
Just-
about like you're in 3v3, let's say you're really good with attack, so you lead with guilty, right? This is for you, Dan, and you accidentally self KO, but then you don't get to use guilty again because you have to switch to your other two. That's what I like.
It happens, like, you know, it happens.
I know, but it feels bad. Like I just want to like let me use guilty one more time, man.
Let me tell you this strat, since I'm probably never gonna freaking host 3v3 again because 5G exists. The strat is, and the thing that was really effective was, you do 3v3, you put guilty at the back, and then by the time you get to reshuffle, because you probably will reshuffle, you just put guilty first again. That's 2 guilty in a row. 2 out of 3. You've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, works.
Yeah, like
it works.
Like all of my 3v3 deck building is basically, if I think I can get away with it, which is usually yes, guilty first, then second combo or third combo, like it barely even matters, is whichever single spin direction thing I think is more important. Third combo is the other spin direction, or maybe if I'm bringing like prominence as a defense type, then there's that. And then reshuffle after I've seen my opponent's deck. I use guilty again, and then whatever other combo is best against their deck. And then that's just the game plan every time. And it usually works.
In that way it's kind of shallow. If you operate with that, I found it to be a little bit shallow, kind of fun, but like missing something, you know?
Yeah, like I'm enjoying it for now, or like enjoying Burst Standard in general for now, mostly just because having stupid powerful attack types with almost no defensive coverage to stop them is kind of fun. But yeah, I'm sure the honeymoon phase will wear off eventually, and
That happened for
Yeah,
me.
possible. I think something kind of related to what you were saying is, when it comes to 3v3 or even 5G, um, pseudo defense types, like when you're running Prominence and Mobius, just have no place in 5G. They have no place in 3v3, but they have a huge place in deck. Like
Yeah.
you can't run it in 5G. Like if you do, you're really just gambling that the one matchup you have is either opposite or an attack type.
yeah,
And you're just hoping. But with deck, you do have that ability to choose and lock yourself into the matchup that you want, that makes your kind of niche combo excel. So
yeah, and that's part of why I think that being able to bring a combo and then not use it, like in pick three choose one or deck, or uh, uh, pick five choose three,
yeah,
is a pretty big deal, because that lets you bring combos that are specific counters to deal with big meta threats like guilty, for example, that maybe don't have super great application outside of that, and is kind of a way that formats like 3v3 and 5G do change the way that you play the game a bit. But
I like the dual spin. There, I said it.
All right. Well, that is all my rants with 3v3. It is what it is. If it's hosted, I'll probably still play because I like Beyblade. But moving on, Bearing Drift. I mean, what is there not to say about this thing? It's the
What I
best stamina tip. That is all.
Yeah, what I said to Swift was that it just makes me sad. I think Dink and maybe you, Dan, have commented already on how it kind of just eats all of the interesting LAD versus same spin stamina tip, or not tip, driver choices that Burst had immediately before its release. With, you got Moment, you got High Extend, you got Mobius, you got Bearing Dash, and then now you have Bearing Drift, and it's better than almost all of them at everything at once.
Yeah, it trivializes driver choice.
Yeah.
by a fair amount.
So
Unless you
boring.
get a bad one, I think, and apparently that is a real issue.
I have a
But if
bad
you get a
one.
good one, like what's the point? You win the game. That's the
Yeah.
driver to use.
Mine is very good, and I don't really have any reason to use anything else anymore.
Yeah,
Which
you
is sad because
really
without it,
don't.
like Moment Dash would see more use.
Moment Dash would have been so freaking sick.
I know.
Yeah.
It was doing good results at this event.
Yeah. It's just not,
It's just
bearing drift.
yeah.
Yeah.
So annoying though. Like it's kind of like I feel like bearing drift is what RDF is for Metal Fight Standard.
Well, at least you can at least you can KO it.
Yeah, at least you can KO it but it also
Yeah,
has good same and
who was the
opposite spin.
person telling me guilty bearing drift? Was it you, Swift? Someone was telling me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like even there, it's the applications are apparently bonkers. Kind of do be RDF.
Yeah. like I don't know if I told you, Cake, but Alex or McFaboy 10, we were talking and he was saying how he thinks the new Wyvang Dragoon is bearing drift because he went to Zector's event in um it was Oregon, I think Beavertown, Oregon, and he said there was so much guilty on bearing drift, and the thing was like normal guilty on like extreme dash wasn't KOing it. Like it could KO it obviously, but like you know how it is. Like sometimes bearing drift is just harder to KO, and then it just won by outspin, and then it was just had bonkers LAD. So it's just like literally just RDF, and it's cancer for the game.
You guys were not probably playing Burst, but it's basically like Rage Drift. If you guys heard of
I
that,
had
Rage
just
Drift.
got into Burst when that was kind of these. I got into Burst right when Guilty had just released.
Yeah, Rage Drift was the only real application for Rage as DB went on because it was just that stupidly strong.
Yeah,
It was just really freaking good.
because
I don't know if
Rage's
you can get
shape
away with it
is
today, but
yeah, Rage's shape is like less aggressive than Guilty, so it was like rounder.
yeah, the chassis system was busted for
Yeah.
normal spring drivers too, and they were always like you could get really circular chassis and just make it work as this pseudo attack type, stamina type hybrid thing. And I
Yeah,
hope Guilty isn't like that with Marrying Drift, but I'm gonna try it. And if
Yeah,
it's
I'll need
good,
to
I'm
test
gonna
it.
use it.
if
But
it's good, I'm still not gonna use it. I just really like. Well, maybe I'll use that, and then I can just start using Zyphoid more.
well, like yeah, here's the thing: how many extremes can I get? How many variations of these rubbers do I need to get? So if you can free up something and make like one really optimal attack combo, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 100% valid, and it's just kind of like sad. Um,
It is sad. It is terrible. It just suffocated all the other drivers. It took the air out of the room.
because like Cake's
Eh,
brother, it was his very first time playing Burst. And I asked him, "What are your thoughts of Burst?" And like unfortunately, he didn't get a C Burst before Bearing Drift was out. Which there was still a lot of LAD stuff, but with Bearing Drift, it's just so much more now. Because it's just good at both, you know. It's like literally like what Wind was if Wind was a driver, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so
I
like
agree, and you can put them together.
yeah, so like Basalt was literally just saying how like Burst was fun, but he didn't like how it's so stamina dominated, even with attack being super viable. With 3v3 you're gonna get a lot of stamina because generally people run 2 stamina 1 attack, that's just how it goes. um and he didn't like that all how like LAD was such a big part of Burst. Um and he just didn't think it was as competitive as MFB, like strategizing. Because even when we had the pick 3 choose 1 just like the amount of combos are not as diverse in Burst
Yeah,
as like Metal Fight, because like everything is fairly similar. Like bearing drift, you can use dynamite plus F, you can use wind, you can use vanish or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's all gonna have
Yeah.
bearing drift kind of thing. So that
It is
was
very bad in that way. And like even now thinking about it, it's kind of warping the way that I would view the game where you either hope you have a really good bearing that can more reliably outspin it, or you're making combos that are specifically designed to be wind bearing drift, for example. And that's kind of
Dyna
like
bearing drift
our
beats wind bearing drift
I
usually.
know, but like what I'm talking like okay, dynamite with yield or something. Um, that's kind of like the hallmark of unhealthiness when you start to have your meta revolve around like one or two combos, you know? So I'd hope maybe we talk about some restrictions or something.
Yes, please. And I think it's ironic that RDF came out and is red, and bearing drift came out and it's red. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that TT just likes to kill the end of their Beyblade line. I don't know, like why. Like it's literally
And
just RDF.
Okay,
and
you know what the actual hope here is? The hope here is that the Burst blade has busted same spin, but just really doesn't perform well on bearing drift. Because if you can somehow manage that, it kind of shuts down wind bearing drift, but you can't rely on bearing drift again. You know, so it would be those two options at least. I don't know if I'm describing it to you in a right in the correct way, but
yeah, I get what you mean.
Yes.
that's like your real cope hope right now for me that involves not restricting the driver.
I
And because I do complain about RDF a lot, I think maybe sometimes people get the impression that I hate LAD gameplay. But like, I before Bearing Drift, Burst had a really nice kind of LAD versus same spin decision making tree for uh, drivers. Like you have all these options with varying amounts of performance and same spin or opposite spin, varying amounts of defensive ability, and that's interesting and that's cool LAD gameplay. Uh, Cringe LAD gameplay is when you have something like Bearing Drift, where there are no compromises. You get everything on a platter. You get same spin, you get opposite spin. Maybe you don't get defense or whatever, but you can kind of work around that. Or if you have RDF, where you get opposite spin and you get defense. Maybe you don't get same spin, but you can work around
you
that.
get same spin attack power though.
Yeah, it's like when you have a tip or a driver or whatever other
RC.
bottom, and it takes away the need to make compromises. That's how you turn a metagame from something healthy and diverse and interesting into just a boring slog.
Yeah. And that is the sad reality. And unfortunately, Cake and I just got into burst, and this is what we're treated with.
Yeah, you got. Listen, there's two more releases. Maybe there's hope.
Rev up that copium.
I'm gonna hard cope until it turns out both the releases are completely freaking mid, and we have to take matters into our own hands.
Yep.
Yeah, like let's just go out and burn every bearing drift that's in existence. Um, gosh, like why would they make that? It's whatever. It's what they play in the DV stadium. It's whatever. Like it's whatever. Uh
Apparently, it's not great there.
oh wow. So like they don't think it's OP because it's not good in the DV stadium. Fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the different floor apparently
I mean,
changes.
you have Metal Drift being sold for higher than,
Bearing drift. Yeah. Metal
yeah.
drift is how much did you pay for yours? Just
I
curious.
bought the full thing and I got it for 33.5k yen.
Huh.
So that's like what, 25 US dollars or something?
Probably something like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good price. Because
you can
like
get the individual for like 2K ish.
yeah, but it's like
But
who
I was
wants to
like,
spend that
"Hold
much
on."
for Metal Drift?
Yeah.
Right, I'd rather get the
Bahamut
another
Core for a little
core.
bit,
Yeah,
yeah, and Aurora is good. Like that stock combo is just really good.
it is like you just take it out the box.
Yeah, and it's very
Yeah,
good. Which Cake you need to get Aurora.
I do.
Um, shoot, like yeah, that's just like it's just really sad to me because you can like I really liked Burst, and Cake knows that. But like I feel like Bearing Drift. Maybe that's also why I didn't enjoy having two Burst standard events. This weekend was because it was dominated by Bearing Drift, so it was just like significantly more boring than normal. Like there was less attack than normal. Um, because like even like Magic was just running his guilty on Zone Dash plus Z, so it was like why is Cake and I and Jay the only ones using rubber based attack? I don't know.
I don't know. In general, I was feeling terrified of all the Zyphoid running around.
Yeah, but the Zyphoids were on Destroy Dash. Like,
What?
well, like I think a kid got one of our Zyphoids. I'm assuming, right? Dan Destroyer. Cake, did you give him one, or
Oh,
maybe Jay did? I think.
yeah, I think I sold him one.
Yeah, and so he was just using that stock, which he did burst me once, but I still beat him because I was on Bearing Drift, but like still, like yeah, that was kind of scary. Zyphoid does scary things, but I was telling Cake, I think all I'm gonna use from now on is just straight attack because like in Metal Fight I care about winning. Like I want to win, it's fun, but in Burst, even winning from LAD, I just don't get that satisfaction. So I think I'm just gonna try to run like 2 attack, 1 stamina maybe because I have a lot of fun doing that.
You know what's good if you want to feel like really on edge? Single elimination, like first stage, just do it. You either show up every single round, which kind of by default means you should be running attack, right? Because you have the most control over your fate. That'll do something. It'll get your blood pumping. Like you'll like that.
We'll
Do
see. We'll
single
see about
elimination
that.
first stage burst. I'm telling you, okay, fine, double elimination. I think maybe that's a bit more fair to everybody.
Single is just like because most of us have to drive multiple hours to get there.
Okay, true.
So,
Do
so it's
double.
like
yeah.
imagine driving 4 hours and you lose in your very first match. Like, well, let's head home early.
Now, hear me out. We do single elimination 1v1, and then we do like 4 tournaments in one day.
Oh, hey yo, let's do it. We can run every format.
It could work. I mean, it's just like everything's all on the line, every single match.
That would be fun because I do like even in games. That's why like the this is. I was talking to your brother Cake about why I didn't have fun with Planet Side when we played was because
Oh
I
yeah.
like the feeling of not being able to respawn. And like
Okay.
so like it would be like that in Beyblade where like once I'm done I'm dead, like I'm out. Like but we'd have to have some pretty bonkers prizes, like brand new unboxed BB10 Galaxy Pegasus DX set, but it's single elimination. Imagine how terrible that would feel. You know what I mean? Like oof.
I don't want fights breaking out.
Little gray cell wins it and doesn't even know what to do with it. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's how we'll destroy the friendly atmosphere at our tournaments.
Yeah, that's when we get all toxic. No, that would be fun. I like because it was kind of like that in Beyblade North, right? It was
Oh,
double.
it was double elimination.
Yeah.
That's why the second I lost doing stamina, I was like, "What the heck am I doing?
Yeah,
Why am I playing stamina right now? Let's go."
I used Guilty on the red Storm Pegasus Quick Dash because I didn't have Extreme Dash, and that's all I had ever used Guilty on. So that was my first time launching that Guilty was at the hotel by myself with Cake, and it was in a BB10, like light launch because I didn't want to break my BB10. But then yeah, I lost it to Hooer. Rip, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Abelia, who lost to Hur, who immediately just left right after.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah. To Hur, if you're listening to this, bro, I remember that.
Wait, why do you leave?
Oh, well, we already knew he had to leave, but it was like this deciding match because they were tied. So Abelia loses, she doesn't go forward. Tahur is like, okay, bye guys.
That's toxic, but he can't lose his
Oof.
BR, top 20. Has to
I
keep
mean,
it.
I don't know. I don't know. Tahur, buddy, don't do that again.
Oh, I stood in line with that guy for 2 hours, so.
I feel bad for you guys. I
Well,
mean, yeah, that sucked. Same.
you know what? I don't want to hear it, Dan. I do not want to hear it.
It got really popular in the last 10 years. Oh my goodness.
Well, you know what I need to do? Next time, just let me know when you're going to be there, and I'll just pretend to carry boxes in with you guys.
Well, they probably won't check.
They won't. Cake did that.
Yeah, I walked in on accident.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
some okay, so story time. It was AN16, I think. I was just absent-mindedly carrying in boxes. It was on Saturday, so I had my badge. I accidentally walked in one of the side entrances to the gaming hall, and because I was carrying a bunch of boxes and looked like I knew where I was going, I walked right past like 3 security guys and nobody stopped me. I was not trying to be facetious and sneak in. I thought that they had already opened up the doors, and I was just clueless and oblivious and confident in my obliviousness.
Only
And
staff was allowed in, but Cake just walked in.
yeah, and so then yeah, and so then I got over to the Beyblade area. Nobody was there yet, and then eventually I got put to work pretending to be staff.
Yeah, he was in Jesse Obray's vlog when he
Yeah,
was like, Cake is setting up the business cards or whatever.
yep.
That was
Jesse,
wonderful.
shout out to Jesse. Jesse's so fucking sick.
I know that
Yeah,
guy was
he
sick.
put me to work.
Man, justice for Jesse. Even though nothing happened, it's just like
What happened to him?
nothing happened, but like bring him back.
Justice for Jesse. Justice for Jesse. Put that in the comments.
You know what we need to do? Start the hashtag justice for Jesse.
I'm saying, put in the title. Put in the title.
Put it in the title. MFB only. I feel like if like I'm surprised none of the old guys have come back when you guys have hosted MFB.
Okay, yeah, that's another thing. Like, I don't know. Some of them definitely just don't want to lose. Okay, fine. But then other ones, maybe they're just busy.
Oh, I know there's a few who refuse to play if it's ranked because they
Uh,
don't want to lose, their top 16 spot.
yeah, but it's fun. I mean, yeah, okay, we have a difference of opinion, especially you and I, compared to that kind of mentality. But
You and
I don't know,
me?
just show up. Yeah, we both agree that it's cringe.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like who cares? I literally like I was telling Cake when in the metal fight tournament when I knew I had no chance of making finals, I literally memed. I didn't like some people will still try super hard because they want to win as many as they can to lose as little BR as possible. But I was just like what's the point? Like let me use J-Day 230. I can actually use something fun now.
Yeah, and you won with it.
Yeah, I still won with it.
Excellent.
It hit. It mercs Medio. It's the one combo in the guy's deck that I could beat with it, and he chose that. Probably because he saw 230, I'm assuming. Or
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, that's basically all I have. Did you guys have anything else or no?
I think we've covered everything and more.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we did a good one
Yeah.
on this time.
All right. GG's. 3v3 is bad. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Not to trigger
3v3 is
anybody.
okay.
It's fine. It's I just want to reiterate so people don't hate on me and Shindog doesn't message me saying I'm wrong.
Hey, I saw your video.
Um I don't hate 3v3. I just don't. The game I want to play is not that. But if you like 3v3, more power to you. That is 100% fine. Just don't expect me to host 3v3. So, yes, that is all.